I want you to imagine something for a second. You are walking up to a massive stadium for the 2026 World Cup.
Oh, yeah, the energy is just absolutely electric.
Right, exactly. There are tens of thousands of people around you, chanting, wearing their team's colors, and the summer heat is just beating down. But as you get closer to the gates, something is conspicuously missing.
Like the usual chaos of trying to find your ticket.
Exactly. You aren't frantically patting your pockets down. You aren't desperately scrolling through your phone, praying you have enough cell signal to load a QR code.
Which never seems to load when you actually need it to.
Never. And you certainly aren't clutching a crumpled paper ticket. Instead, you just walk straight up to the gate. You look directly into a camera lens for a fraction of a second, a light turns green, the turnstile unlocks, and you walk right in.
It feels like absolute magic, honestly.
Yeah, it really does. But of course, it's not magic at all. What you are actually experiencing is a massive, unprecedented deployment of artificial intelligence.
It's a striking image, for sure. And the thing to keep in mind here is that we aren't talking about some hypothetical scenario 10 years down the road.
Right.
This is the immediate reality of what fans are going to encounter.
Welcome to this deep dive into a really fascinating stack of fresh research, articles, and technical reports regarding the 2026 World Cup, which, as you know, is being co-hosted by Mexico, the United States, and Canada.
Yeah, a massive logistical undertaking.
Oh, absolutely. And our mission for this deep dive is to take all these sources and separate the viral sci-fi hype from the actual reality on the ground. We're going to explore exactly how AI is fundamentally reshaping the fan experience.
And we really need to look at the other side of that coin, too.
Right. We're going to uncover the very real ethical, quote-unquote, penalties involved in rolling out this kind of technology.
Because we really need to view this specific tournament as a massive global testing ground. The sheer scale of the World Cup means we are looking at a historic collision.
Collision of what, exactly?
Well, you have the raw passion and massive scale of global sports running headfirst into cutting-edge biometric security. And that immediately brings fundamental human rights into the conversation. The stakes here go far beyond which country takes home the trophy.
For sure. But before we can even begin to judge whether this technology is a utopian dream where we never have to wait in a sweltering line again or some dystopian nightmare, we first need to establish what technology is actually waiting at those stadium gates.
Yeah, we have to get the facts straight.
Exactly. And perhaps more importantly, we need to know what is just internet rumor that has spiraled completely out of control.
Right, so we have to look at the factual implementations. First and foremost, and this directly contradicts some of the more sensational headlines circulating online, the sources confirm this is not a mandatory universal scanning of all the millions of fans attending the games.
Okay, that's a relief.
Yeah, it's not some invisible biometric dragnet catching every single person who happens to walk within a mile of the venue.
So they aren't secretly logging everyone into a massive facial database just for breathing the stadium air.
No, not at all. The organizers have been very specific about this. What we're seeing is voluntary facial recognition deployed at specific selected venues.
Okay, like which ones?
The documentation points to places like Gillette Stadium in Boston, Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, and Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. The technology is primarily being utilized for fast-track, ticketless entry.
Just getting people through the doors faster.
Right, but the system actually goes a step beyond just getting you through the front door. It's also wired for cashless payments. You can literally walk up to a concession stand, grab a jersey or a hot dog, look at a screen, and pay for it using nothing but your face.
Oh, wow, just your face.
Just your face. And alongside those point-of-sale systems, AI is working continuously in the background to monitor overall crowd flows and identify suspicious behavior. They're utilizing networks of advanced cameras and anti-drone technology for that.
We should probably talk about what it actually means to, quote-unquote, scan a face. Because I used to think of it like a digital VIP bouncer, just a computer matching a photograph to another photograph. But it's way more complex than that, isn't it?
Oh, far more complex. The system isn't just taking a flat picture of you. It is mathematically mapping the unique geometry of your face.
Wait, mapping the geometry?
Yeah. It measures the precise millimeter distance between your eyes, the exact curve of your jawline, the depth of your eye sockets. It takes all of those physical dimensions and converts them into a unique numerical string.
Like a barcode, almost.
Essentially, yes. It's called a biometric template. When you walk up to the gate, the camera captures your face, instantly converts it into a new string of numbers, and checks if it matches the string of numbers on file for your ticket.
That honestly helps explain why people get so nervous about the hardware involved. Which actually brings me to the internet rumors. I know I saw the videos going around social media of those robot dogs, and people
Yeah.
were absolutely panicking.
Oh, the viral hype around the Boston Dynamics robot dogs was intense.
Yeah, the one's called Spot, right?
Exactly, the model called Spot. People were sharing posts claiming these robotic dogs were going to be roaming through the dense crowds, actively scanning everyone's faces and identifying individuals.
So is that actually happening?
No, the sources allow us to definitively debunk that. While those Boston Dynamics Spot robots will be utilized to patrol the perimeters of certain venues, both FIFA and Boston Dynamics have explicitly stated in their press releases that these robots do not possess native facial recognition capabilities.
Okay, that is definitely a relief.
Right. Their function is purely physical perimeter security. They're checking fences, looking for unattended packages, things like that, not doing biometric surveillance of the fans.
Nobody wants a robot dog analyzing their face while they're just trying to find their seat, you know? But this raises an obvious question for me.
Which is?
If this technology is really just about moving lines faster and getting people to their seats before kickoff, why are privacy advocates sounding the alarm so loudly?
Well, to answer that, we have to look at the massive incentives driving the organizers of a mega event like this. The AI integration you were seeing isn't just a fun novelty so you can buy a beer without your wallet.
Right.
It's about fundamentally optimizing the underlying mechanics of the entire event, both up in the grandstands and right down on the grass of the pitch.
Meaning they are chasing a serious return on investment.
Absolutely.
But I have a theory about this quote-unquote frictionless experience.
Mm.
Is this technology genuinely designed to make the event safer and fairer for the fan? Or is the frictionless entry mostly a psychological tool to lower our stress so we spend money faster at the concession stands?
That's an interesting point.
Because if I'm not physically digging for my wallet or looking at cash, I'm probably not thinking as hard about how much I just spent on a souvenir cup, right?
You are hitting on a very real aspect of consumer psychology there.
Mm.
Frictionless systems absolutely encourage higher spending, and organizers know that. However, we have to acknowledge the very real documented security benefits first.
Like what are the actual security wins?
Well, the data shows that biometrics dramatically reduce massive queues. Bottlenecks and crowd crushes outside stadiums are a historic, serious safety hazard in global football.
Oh, for sure. We've seen tragic incidents in the past.
Exactly. If you eliminate the need to scan individual barcodes on thousands of phones with varying screen brightness, the flow of human traffic becomes smooth and continuous. Furthermore, biometric entry virtually eliminates ticket counterfeiting.
Because you can't just print out someone else's face.
Exactly. It drastically lowers unauthorized access because, unlike a password or a printed ticket, a person's facial geometry is incredibly difficult to steal or duplicate in a crowded physical environment. So yes, it drives revenue, but it also solves massive logistical nightmares for the security teams.
Okay, I can see how preventing a dangerous crowd crush is a legitimate security win. But the AI optimization doesn't just stop at the edge of the stands, does it? The sources note that AI is actively refereeing the match itself.
Yeah, the technology extends directly onto the pitch. FIFA, in partnership with Lenovo, is utilizing specialized sensors embedded directly inside the match ball. These sensors operate at an astonishing 500 hertz.
Wait, 500 hertz? What does that actually mean in practice during a game?
It means the sensor inside the ball is transmitting its exact three-dimensional location, its speed, and its rotation 500 times every single second.
Oh, wow. That is incredibly fast.
It really is. Now think about a player striking a ball traveling at 80 miles per hour. The human eye struggles to pinpoint the exact millisecond the boot makes contact. But the system triangulates that 500 hertz data from the ball with an array of optical cameras positioned around the stadium roof.
And what are those cameras looking at?
They track 29 separate skeletal points on every single player's body. It essentially creates real-time, AI-generated 3D avatars of the players.
That is wild.
By combining the exact millisecond the ball is kicked with the exact spatial location of the opposing player's limbs, the system can make incredibly complex offside calls in under 1 second.
Under 1 second. It essentially removes human error from some of the most controversial moments in the sport. And the sources mention that fans watching on screens actually get augmented reality overlays, right, to see exactly how the AI made the call.
Yeah, exactly. The pitch technology is genuinely a marvel of modern engineering.
Yeah.
But to evaluate whether this overarching AI ecosystem is truly fair play, We have to look back at the grandstands.
Right.
Relying so heavily on a seamless automated entry system assumes that the technology treats every single fan equally. And when we dive into the scientific evidence provided in our stack of research, a very different, highly flawed reality emerges.
So here's where it gets really interesting. Let's get into the blind spots. What actually happens when the technology issues a red card to the wrong person?
The sources highlight landmark academic research in this field to explain the flaws, specifically the gender shade study.
That was conducted at MIT, right?
Yes, at MIT, by researchers Joy Buolamwini and Timnit Gebru back in 2018. This study is foundational to understanding biometric bias. They tested the leading commercial facial recognition systems of the time and found shocking disparities in accuracy.
How bad were the disparities?
The systems had up to a 34% error rate when trying to identify women and individuals with dark skin. Contrast that with a less than 1% error rate for white men.
Wait, a 34% error rate is massive. And there is a specific anecdote from that study that really stuck with me. Joy Buolamwini, the researcher who is a black woman, literally could not get the facial recognition software to detect that her face was actually a face.
Yes, that was a huge moment in the research.
She actually had to put a plain white plastic mask over her own face just to get the camera to register her presence. Why does a sophisticated computer program fail that spectacularly?
It comes down to how machine learning algorithms are built. AI doesn't just magically know what a human face looks like,
Yeah.
It has to be taught using massive databases of photographs, which we call training data. If you feed an algorithm a data set containing 1 million pictures of white men and only a few thousand pictures of women of color, the system becomes incredibly hyper-specialized at mapping the geometric features of white male faces.
That makes sense. It's only learning what you show it.
Right. It literally has not learned the mathematical markers to accurately map darker skin tones or just facial structures. The bias isn't necessarily programmed intentionally. It is inherited from incomplete training data.
So think about what this means for the actual person standing at the stadium gate. It's not like making a typo on your keyboard and getting locked out of your bank account. A typo is a user error.
Exactly.
This is a system error. It is more like being handed a key that was cut perfectly for your house, but the lock itself was poorly manufactured at the factory, so it only turns for a specific brand of key.
That's a great analogy.
Just imagine walking up to the gate, excited for the game, and the digital bouncer asks you to step out of line, holding you up, waving everyone else through effortlessly, simply because the underlying code wasn't trained on your specific skin tone. That is the exact opposite of fair play.
Yeah, it turns a highly touted VIP experience into a moment of public humiliation and profiling. Now, the research does note that the technology has improved significantly since that 2018 study.
Okay, so they are getting better.
Yes. The U.S. agency NIST, that's the National Institute of Standards and Technology, has documented major verifiable improvements. The absolute top-tier algorithms today boast over 99% accuracy across various demographic groups when tested.
But those are lab tests, right?
Exactly the problem. What NIST tests in a controlled, brightly lit laboratory environment is not what happens outside a stadium in the middle of a chaotic summer afternoon.
Oh, definitely not.
Real-world conditions are messy. You have harsh stadium lighting creating weird shadows, unusual camera angles, people wearing hats or face paint, and the simple reality of massive, dense, multicultural crowds.
Right, all of those variables.
All of these factors trigger false positives and false negatives. The data consistently shows that when the system breaks down under these real-world pressures, the failures are not distributed equally. It disproportionately affects fans of specific ethnicities and countries.
Even if we wave a magic wand and developers completely fix the bias tomorrow, let's say the cameras work perfectly for 100% of the population, regardless of lighting, skin tone, or face paint. The sources argue that a flawless facial recognition system introduces an even bigger hurdle.
Yeah, in many ways, a perfect facial recognition system creates a more profound societal issue.
Yeah.
We are stepping into the core privacy paradox of biometrics.
The paradox being what?
Well, your biometric data, that mathematical map of your face we discussed earlier, is utterly unique, and crucially, it is irreversible. If a hacker steals your password in a data breach, you log into your account, you reset the password to something new, and you move on. You cannot reset your face.
Right, you can't exactly leave your face at home.
Exactly. Once that geometric map of your face is digitized and stored in a database, your risk profile changes permanently. This is why organizations like Privacy International are raising severe warnings in the source material about the normalization of surveillance at mega events.
Normalization meaning we just get used to it.
Right. By deploying this technology at the World Cup, organizers are conditioning millions of people to accept facial scanning as a mundane, everyday requirement for participating in public life.
What are the actual risks once that data is out there, though? Like, what's the worst case scenario?
The reports outline several severe threats. First, there is the risk of data retention. Like, how long do the organizers keep your facial map on their servers after the game ends? There are massive risks regarding unauthorized sharing with local, national, or international government authorities without your explicit informed consent.
Yeah, that is terrifying.
And there is the ever-present threat of data breaches by malicious hackers. Plus, as AI progresses, the sources highlight rising concerns about spoofing via highly sophisticated deepfakes.
Let's clarify spoofing for a second. We aren't talking about holding up a printed photograph to trick a camera.
No, no.
Ah.
Modern stadium scanners use depth sensors. Spoofing in this context means a bad actor using AI to generate a synthetic, three-dimensional video rendering of your face.
Oh, wow.
They could project that dynamic rendering to trick the depth sensors and infrared cameras at the gate into believing the live person standing there is actually you. If your biometric template is stolen, it can be weaponized to bypass physical security systems that rely on it.
It honestly feels like we are being asked to trade a permanent piece of our identity just so we don't have to wait in line for a beer. And the organizers frequently emphasize that scanning your face is entirely voluntary. They call it an opt-in system.
Yes, they do.
But let's look at the logistics for a second. If the manual ticket line, the one where you choose to protect your privacy, requires standing in the blazing sun for 2 hours because they only open one manual gate, and the facial recognition line takes 2 minutes in the shade, is that really a free choice? Or are you just being actively punished for deciding to protect your privacy? It feels incredibly coercive.
You are illustrating the operational reality that leads to what ethicists call manufactured consent.
Manufactured consent.
Right. If the non-biometric path is inherently degraded, understaffed, or actively frustrating, then opting into the facial scan is less of a genuine choice and more of a surrender to convenience. And this coercive element feeds directly into a well-documented academic concept known as the chilling effect.
How does the chilling effect play out in a sports stadium, though?
Well, the chilling effect occurs when innocent people unconsciously self-censor their behavior simply because they know a machine is watching, recording, and analyzing their every move.
Oh, I see.
Think about the environment of a football stadium. It is traditionally a place of wild, uninhibited emotion. You scream at the referee, you cry when your team loses, you jump up and down and hug complete strangers.
Yeah, that's half the fun of going to a game.
Exactly. But if you are acutely aware that high-definition cameras are continuously running facial recognition on the crowd, potentially logging your emotional state or tracking your movements, it subtly alters how you express yourself. The persistent surveillance suppresses the very freedom, passion, and joy that the sporting event is supposed to celebrate.
So what does this all mean for us? The 2026 World Cup is clearly shaping up to be a major historical milestone. AI isn't just acting as a hyper-accurate referee on the pitch, you know. It is actively defining the physical reality and the stadium experience of millions of fans.
Absolutely.
It offers undeniably thrilling convenience because, let's face it, we all hate lines. But it demands a level of rigorous ethical vigilance that we honestly haven't seen implemented at this scale before.
And the source material is very clear on the path forward. If organizers are going to navigate this successfully, they need specific, robust safeguards. The reports advocate for GDPR-inspired regulations.
And for anyone unfamiliar, GDPR is the General Data Protection Regulation from the European Union. It's basically the gold standard for data privacy, right? It forces companies to explain exactly what data they collect, how they use it, and gives citizens the legal right to demand their data be permanently deleted.
That is correct. Implementing those kinds of strict retention and deletion rules is absolutely crucial here. Furthermore, the sources call for massive digital education campaigns, so fans actually understand the biometric mapping they're consenting to at the gate.
They need to know what they're signing up for.
Exactly. And perhaps most importantly, there must be independent third-party audits of these algorithms to ensure they're performing fairly across all demographics in a chaotic environment of a real stadium, not just in a pristine laboratory. The technology should serve to unite the world just as fairly as the sport of football itself does.
It really is a high-wire balancing act between the ultimate convenience and our fundamental rights. As we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you, the listener, with a final lingering thought pulled directly from the legacy concerns in our research stack. It's something to really mull over.
Oh, the legacy concerns are fascinating.
Yeah, I want you to think about what happens after the final whistle blows and the tournament is officially over. Remember, we have three very different countries hosting this event: the United States, Mexico, and Canada. They all have entirely different federal, state, and provincial privacy laws.
It creates an unprecedented jurisdictional labyrinth for data ownership.
It really does. If you are a Canadian citizen who traveled to Mexico City for a match and your facial data was processed by an American tech company who actually owns the digital map of your face once you cross the border to go home,
It's a massive legal gray area.
and more importantly, think about the millions of dollars spent installing this massive surveillance infrastructure, the high-definition cameras, the biometric scanners, the massive data centers. Do we really think the organizers and local governments just power all of that down and pack it away into cardboard boxes when the month-long party is over?
Highly unlikely.
Right. Or does that infrastructure stay powered on in our cities permanently? You have to ask yourself, is the price of a faster line at the stadium today a permanent digital footprint in the physical world tomorrow? Let us know what you think. Until next time, keep questioning the world around you.